Game over for Drake. Drake is done. Drake has been allegedly a snitch, and he's calling out all YouTubers, man. You know what I mean? Regarding, you know what I mean, Kendrick Lamar music, man. They're not like us, man. They're not like us. I'm gonna roll this video. Make sure you guys share the live, man. We gotta definitely talk about this one, man. Drake is a snitch, and according to reports, if it comes out that Drake snitched or incorporated in a case anywhere, I don't think he can come back from it. I know some shit about niggas that make Gunna looks like a saint. All the rest of the shots or whatever and things we heard before, I don't think many of them can do much past. And jokes, but it came out that Drake somehow snitched on any of these dudes around him. That he had case, I honestly am not sure that he could ever really recover from that. Like, I literally think evidence of Drake being gay wouldn't do as much as him being a snitch. I'm not a street dude, and I know that half of these rappers are played pretend, but have pretended all their life being this gangster. But our hard evidence of being a rat is one way train to 69, man. Now, we know Drake in Toronto, his house was, you know what I mean, shot up at. You know what I mean? So, fam, according to source, everybody is saying Drake is a snitch, man, and he's calling out all YouTubers, man. I'm gonna roll this clip, you guys. Make sure you guys enjoy this video, share this video. Let's get this video going.
Filed 2 petitions against Universal Music Group for defamation.
It said Drake filed second action against UMG over Kendrick Lamar false songs, man. And this is why Drake has been going over YouTubers, man. They're not like us. They're not like us, man. You know, let's go to this clip.
And on the grounds that Kendrick Lamar's hit song, Not Like Us, falsely painted him as a certified pedophile. Additionally, Drake alleges that Universal and Spotify used bots to artificially inflate the stream counts and sales numbers of Not Like Us, as well as illegally paying for the song to be played and promoted all around the world, again as an act of a smear campaign. And while 99% of people think Drake is just acting like a crybaby sore loser of a rap beef, that is just a tiny part of the bigger picture. Kendrick is likely just a small pawn in what really is Drake versus the most powerful people in the music industry. Most people are not willing to address the real corruption and chaos because it's easier and funnier to just treat it like 2 petty rappers writing poems about each other. But make no mistake, Drake is not a victim. This attack was a long time coming, and likely a response to his 15-year-long calculated measures to obtain power and control over his peers. And while Drake is currently trying to dismantle the corrupt music industry, there is no doubt he participated in and benefited from the corruption for years. And because of his recent efforts, he may have finally crossed a line that he cannot retreat from. Drake is putting his entire career and potentially his life on the line, but is it too late? Today we are going to discuss Drake's rise to power, the enemies he made along the way, why his power is such a threat to his enemies, and how this is going to change his career and the music industry as a whole. The singular most important factor in becoming successful in the music industry is building and obtaining power. Power, leverage, influence, and taking advantage of others is just the way the music industry works. And you might be thinking, Patrick, that's every industry, which is kind of true, but the music industry is different for a couple reasons. First, music will never go out of business. People will never stop wanting to consume music, whether we install computer chips into our brains or listen to some guy play the guitar on the street. Music will never die. Therefore, artists will never stop pursuing that dream, no matter.
It says less problematic. Let's go back. Less problematic things an artist can do when you're not street. So we know everybody knows Drake is not street, man. People was hating on Ghana too, but ain't take the same plea Ghana did, or I'm tripping. It says, yeah, he didn't pursue it. It makes sense why a Toronto rapper that have a song with him years ago, everybody thought was Drake's song, went to went to Twitter to try to air the whole situation out. Everybody know that Drake is a legible snitch, man. He's, you know what I mean, and I won't be surprised he's doing a lawsuit on YouTube, man, on the song "They're Not Like Us," man. That's why if you playing Kendrick Lamar on your videos when you make, you know what I mean, your YouTube videos, "They're Not Like Us," man. Drake is, you know what I mean, doing a lawsuit on people that's bumping Kendrick Lamar, man. So Drake mentioned his mob ties in every other songs were the guy to handle this. Now, wasn't it set up from people he knew? I don't get the big deal. It's not like Drake is from some big gang where these street values was ingrained in him. He grew up a regular ass citizen, regardless of his TV and rapper status. Remember, man, this guy grew up as a Nickelodeon, man. He wasn't even a rapper, man. But I find it, you know what I mean? I find it weird that Drake is calling YouTubes out on a song with Kendrick Lamar "Did Not Like Us," man. I'm gonna roll this video, man. Make sure you guys like the live, share this live. Let's get this live going, man.
Install computer chips into our brains, or listen to some guy play the guitar on the street. Music will never die. Therefore, artists will never stop pursuing that dream. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how ugly, dirty, grimy, risky, and corrupt the music industry is, there will still be countless artists trying to get a taste of that dream. There will always be demand. There will always be supply. With that being said, music is always changing rapidly. Music is so dynamic and subjective, and what people are going to like is almost impossible to predict. That's why it's so difficult to remain popular for long periods of time, because by the time you get enough skills and work enough magic to make the right record and the right sound at the right time, people's tastes just change and then they're on to the next sound. And secondly, it's nearly impossible to separate the product, which is the music, from the brand or the artist. You cannot sell a Drake song without Aubrey Graham. You can try to come up with clone artists, you can try to have them write music for other people, but ultimately you will never fully connect with fans or reach your
Now listen what Pusha T saying. These niggas ain't dying for you. These niggas ain't dying for you. Throwing that flag up, running around. You hot shit, taking half of everything you get. Yeah, them niggas ain't dying for you. Them niggas ain't dying for you. And we know that. Let's play this
maximum
video.
earning potential unless it is Aubrey Graham performing that Drake song. But that's only if he's alive, because the caveat to the music business is if
the new Aveeno Daily Moisturizing Cream is clinically proven to moisturize for 48 hours.
BK melts, wanna warm up, this shirt helps. Classic bacon, shroom and Swiss. BK melt season is tasty bliss. BK, have it your way.
This job requires a college degree. Any degree. Any degree, just...
Your day-to-day expenses piling up? Do you need $100 but don't want to deal with credit checks or high interest rates? Have you heard of Credit Genie? Credit Genie? Yeah, it's an app.
the artist is dead, their music actually becomes more valuable. Drake did not start his music career in an attempt to obtain power. He was a theater kid, raised by his Jewish mother while his father was in Memphis, Tennessee, incarcerated due to drug-related charges. He saw decent success after securing the role as Jimmy on the hit Canadian teen drama show Degrassi, but he wanted to be a rapper. He was a fan of the culture and simply wanted to make his mark on it. Drake once famously rapped, "I'm a J. Prince investment." That's because J. Prince was a drug kingpin out of Houston, Texas in the 80s. In efforts to make his business more legitimate, he started a record label, signing iconic rap groups like the Ghetto Boys and UGK. J. Prince's son, J. Prince Jr., discovered Drake on MySpace. They took a risk on the light-skinned Canadian boy and introduced him to Lil Wayne and Birdman. With the cosign of the biggest rapper in the game, Wayne fans immediately took a liking to Drake. Within 3 years, he topped the charts via collaborations with Wayne, Kanye West, Jay-Z, and Eminem. Drake was the fastest rising young superstar in hip-hop, but in 2010, Drake realized his throne was vulnerable, and he made a crucial mistake that he would never make again. And I don't want you to make the mistake of buying tickets anywhere else but SeatGeek. Basketball is back, football season is in full swing, and your favorite artists and comedians are touring. I know a lot of you would like to get out to a game or a show this season, and that's why I need to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek. Everyone can use my code Patrick10 and get 10% off any tickets on SeatGeek, whether you're a new customer or not, sports concerts, festivals, you name it. SeatGeek rates on a scale of 1 to 10, so look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. No matter how many times you've bought tickets using SeatGeek before, code Patrick10 is going to get you 10% off your next order. So take out your phone, open the SeatGeek app, and add code Patrick10 to your account. And don't wait, because this offer is only available for a limited time. In music, no matter how hot you are, there is always someone on the come up who is hungrier and has a fresher sound. And in 2010, that was The Weeknd. Drake and The Weeknd are from the same city, Toronto, Canada. In 2010, Drake caught a wind of The Weeknd's single, Wicked Games. He tweeted the song's lyrics and promoted it on his blog, where he posted the single and a download link. But this wasn't really a new practice for Drake. He was constantly using his platform to show love to new talent. He also showed love to a young A$AP Rocky.
The only person that put on for me when I ain't had nobody was Drake. I'm talking about Drake was the first person to put on, like, before anybody. He didn't want to sign me.
Yeah.
He didn't want, it was like, yo, that's raw talent, yo. Like, you gotta shine, yo. I'm gonna see to it. I forever owe Drake.
Drake has an amazing ear and eye for talent. He probably knew about your favorite artist before you did. But with The Weeknd, he took things a step further. Drake had The Weeknd perform at OVO Fest, which was his headlining festival thrown by his October's Very Own Sound record label. From there, Drake would be featured on The Weeknd's mixtape Thursday on the track The Zone. Drake took The Weeknd under his wing and spent a considerable amount of effort pushing his imprint, EXO. He mentioned OVO and EXO so much that people already thought it was some sort of business partnership. And that's because Drake knew The Weeknd was a superstar in the making. He even thought The Weeknd could be bigger than him.
I was waiting to see the next individual that would make history, that could potentially span far beyond mine, and I feel like that person is on the other end of this phone with me. He goes by the name of The Weeknd. Please talk to your city, man, please.
But Drake wasn't necessarily being altruistic and trying to just show the fans how great The Weeknd was. He also wanted Abel to help write songs for him on his upcoming album, Take Care. Take Care dropped in November of 2011 and sold 631,000 copies in the first week, and is considered by many to be a classic album, perhaps Drake's best body of work. The Weeknd was featured on Crew Love, which is easily one of the highlights of the album, but Abel also received writing credits on Shot For Me, The Ride, Practice, and Cameras. The crazy part is The Weeknd was still independent at this point. Drake essentially made The Weeknd the most highly sought after artist in the game, and every record label was trying to sign him. But it's clear that Drake didn't really know if he was going to sign The Weeknd to OVO Sound, or if maybe they would start some sort of joint venture.
The team's coming together. We got, like, 40 doing really well. We got, like, new additions, like, we just sort of had this affiliation with The Weeknd. It's really great. He's on the album a bunch.
It's safe to assume that since Drake helped him jump,
Drake has been called out as being a snitch. Excuse me, there. If it comes out that Drake really is a snitch or incorporating a case anyway, I don't think he can come back from it. Now, all the rest of the shots or whatever and things we have heard before, I don't think many of them can do much past. But if it comes out that Drake somehow has snitched on any of these dudes around him that had a case, I'm not sure that he could ever really recover from that. Like, I literally think the evidence of Drake's being gay would do as much as him being a snitch. It says, I am not a street dude. I know that half of these rappers are played pretend, but hard evidence of being a rat is a one-way train to 69, man. Everybody think Dre's a rat, man. Everybody, like I said, man, everybody think that, you know what I mean, he has this big ego, you know what I mean, and you know what I mean, when you have an ego, you have pride, you know what I mean, you let the pride get the best of you, man, and everybody think Dre ain't what he is, you know what I mean, and you know what I mean, the sad thing is how Dre is suing a lot of YouTubers, man. It's sad, man. You know what I mean? And I want to read what Pusha T says. If I can find what Pusha T says. Because Pusha T is saying these niggas is not like us. You know what I mean? These niggas ain't like us. So I want to do Drake got any homies that will clap for him. Because his Toronto home was shot at. You know what I mean? And, you know, this is why Kendrick Lamar made the song, They're Not Like Us, man. They're not like us, man. You know what I mean? They don't bleed like us, man. They don't bleed like us, man. And why did Gunna come out saying, I know some shit about niggas? So this, you know what I mean? This thing is all a joke, man. How niggas pretend to be something that they never was, man. All the rest of the shots, it says, however, and things we have heard before. I don't think many of them can do much. He's not from the streets, so doesn't really matter. So he's not from the streets, so it doesn't really matter what Drake come out and say, man. He's making these false accusations, like he made an accusation against LeBron cheating on his wife. We don't know if it's true or not, but you know, Drake ain't what he is, man. He's not what he is, man. Let's roll this clip.
Start his career that The Weeknd would stay loyal to him. Drake.
Desmond, if you don't stop watching TV, I'm leaving you, Veronica would say. Well, look at Desmond now. With rewards on Sling, he made thousands. He didn't need Veronica. He just needed Sling.
Attention shoppers, want to spend less? Go to Aldi. They're #1 in everyday low prices.
At San Joaquin Valley College, it's never too late to continue your education and start a new and rewarding career. Training to become a medical assistant could be the career path you've been looking for. At SJVC, you'll get the guidance of experienced professionals in the field and receive hands-on training every step of the way, giving you the skills.
Is your healing? Your healing? Is your healing?
Drake stayed loyal to Lil Wayne and Birdman, so maybe he figured The Weeknd would do the same, but he didn't. The Weeknd signed with Republic Records in a joint venture with his own label EXO in 2012. And the day that the news broke, Drake tweeted, "You won't get away with just a thank you. You owe me a favor." Perhaps The Weeknd didn't like the feeling of giving up half of his material to boost the success of an already popular man. We know this based on his 2013 interview with Complex, where he said that his album House of Balloons had way more songs before he gave them to Drake. He described one night in the studio recording The Ride, "I had sung this melody. It wasn't a hook, just an unfinished lyric. And Drake liked it so much he was like, I need to have this, man. I know I've already taken Shot for Me and Crew Love and this and that, and me, I was hungry at that time. I was like, dude, take anything." At that point, I was like, hell yeah. By signing to Republic, The Weeknd chose himself over Drake, which is selfish, but in the music industry, You have to be selfish. Signing to Drake could have resulted in him always living in Drake's shadow, and even though Drake gave The Weeknd a massive platform, in exchange he got help writing an amazing album. Who knows what Take Care would have sounded like without Abel's writing? It seems like it was a fair trade. Plus, Drake was still the bigger, more successful artist. He even asked Abel to open up for him on his 2013 tour. The Weeknd wasn't a threat to the Drake empire. That was until The Weeknd prevented Drake from receiving his first ever #1 single. In the week of October 24th, 2015, The Hills by The Weeknd reached #1 on the Hot 100, with Drake's Hotline Bling directly underneath him at #2. Drake posted on IG with the caption, "If I get my first #1 during the month of October, it will be the biggest moment of my career to date. I always love the moment right before it happens more than when it actually happens. So thank you, even if it doesn't." Well, it didn't go #1. The Hills stayed there for 6 consecutive weeks. Drake realized right then and there he made a huge mistake. He essentially just gave all of the resources to another artist who could put him out of business. Ego aside, that's actually just a dumb business model. It's good for the art, it's good for the culture to uplift and help another artist, but it's bad for business if you do not have a contractual tie to them. And Drake made sure he would never make that mistake again. From now on, Drake would be extra careful of who he promotes to his fan base, unless they were signed to OVO Sound. But many suspect that he took it a step further and purposely held back his own OVO signees. They suspect that Drake only acquired these artists so that they could write music for Drake and essentially give their best material to him. This is what people commonly refer to as the OVO sweatshop. And when you look at the entire roster, there isn't one artist that outshines Drake. Most of them you probably never heard of. But was that intentional? Majid Jordan, an R&B duo from Toronto, were discovered by Drake's producer 40 after they released a mixtape anonymously on SoundCloud in 2012. 40 and Drake asked the duo to come write for Drake's upcoming album, Nothing Was the Same. In an interview with Hot 97, they described what it was like working on a Drake record.
They basically put us in a studio, and it was like a studio camp almost. There were tents in there, there were like people flying
beats.
in. Yeah, make beats, stay in the dungeon, don't leave.
Like,
You cannot leave.
literally tents. Literally.
Can't tell anyone you're working on this project.
We met like so many people that we now work with and collaborate with.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
was,
there's actually tents.
Yeah, there are tents in the studio. People were camping. I slept in a tent in the studio.
Everything.
Well, one night during these sessions, they recorded a demo for what is now Hold On We're Going Home, which was the most successful single on Drake's album. Majid not only produced the beat, but they wrote the lyrics and also performed on the bridge. And as a result, they were credited as collaborators on the record. However, their career started at its peak, and they have never replicated that level of success. Well, at least for their personal brand. They continue to help write hits for Drake such as Feel No Ways and For Free, but nothing they ever released under their own brand came close to matching the success of a song that they wrote for Drake. Then again, that doesn't mean that they are unsuccessful. Just taking a quick look at their stream counts from various projects and singles, they pretty easily secure well over 10 million streams per song. And Drake has featured on their projects multiple times over the years. Maybe the R&B.
We're standing up for our right to be lazy.
By sitting down.
And reclining. Because we work hard and want to relax hard. We, the lazy, are taking back lazy.
On our Lazy Boy furniture. Lazy Boy. Long live the lazy.
New Aveeno Daily Moisturizing Cream is clinically proven to moisturize for 48 hours.
At California Virtual Academy, we know your child is one of a kind, and their school should be too. That's why we offer tuition-free, personalized education from the comfort of your home. Your child will connect with credentialed teachers who can help them meet their individual learning needs, explore their interests, and reach their full potential. See what your child can achieve with California Virtual Academy.
Starting today, anyone can monetize with ads. As part of the all-new Beehive ad network, thousands of newsletters.
So the last 48 hours have been absolutely insane. Obviously, Drake filed his first lawsuit against Spotify and UMG, and now he has filed a petition, which is kind of like the starting place of a lawsuit against UMG.
A petition is a legal document that requests A court order while a lawsuit is legal process that seeks justice for losing or harm. A petition is a formal request for a court order while a lawsuit seeks justice for losing or harm. A petition is usually the first step in a lawsuit. So we know that Dre had filed a lawsuit in this matter with Kendrick Lamar, man. They're not like us, man. And there's a lot of people, you know what I mean, is being filed this lawsuit, man. We found out that a lot of YouTubers is under these lawsuits that Dre is doing, man. You know what I mean? With Kendrick Lamar's song, They're Not Like Us, man. You know, this raised a lot of questions, man. On a lot of YouTubers, you know what I mean, what Drake is doing, man. You know, it seems to me that Drake is a sore loser. You know what I mean? When things don't go his way, man, he pouts. You know what I mean? And like I said, you can't make this kind of stuff up, man. Drake, Toronto house was shot up at. You know what I mean? Everybody looking at Drake as a rat, snitch. You know what I mean? I'm going to play this video, man. Because this video is surfing everywhere, man.
And iHeartRadio. Basically, Drake is asking a judge if he can do an audit of their partnership because he wants to see if any suspect activity was going on when it came to Not Like Us being played relentlessly on the radio and pretty much everywhere else all summer long.
You see? They're not like us. They're not like us, you see?
And don't even get me started on Drake's feud with NBA player DeMar DeRozan, aka the man named and...
You see, Drake was pushing and bullying all these people, man. Like he had something against LeBron, he had something against DeMar DeRozan in Toronto. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? He's pushing all this stuff out, man. You know what I mean? Like he's some kind of, you know what I mean? He's some kind of gangster. You know what I mean? But now you're seeing all these lawsuits that Drake trying to file, you know what I mean, to end Kendrick Lamar's career. Now, Kendrick, you know what I mean, rumors saying Kendrick could be in trouble for this, but we don't know, you know what I mean? Because we see in a lawsuit regarding They're Not Like Us, you pedophile, and he's taking that to the heart. And you know, who knows what else Drake is up to. So I'm gonna roll this footage, man. Let you guys see it for yourself.
Featured in the Not Like Us video. The funniest part is while he was standing sideline and trying to mean mug for 3 hours, Drake watched DeMar get the dub and drop 27 on his head top. But that didn't stop him from uttering under his breath, "Fuck out of here, pussy." After DeMar was already fully turned around and out of distance where the sound waves off Drake's pursed lips would not reach his ears. Drake would later say this during a broadcast about DeMar's jersey potentially hanging in the Raptors' rafters.
Yes.
All my hands off!
What's going on here?
They just took us off the air.
Get out of my studio!
Turn the cameras back on.
3, 2, 1.
There's a hostage situation in the Olympic Village.
September 5. Rated R.
Did you know you could be entitled to a 5 or 6 figure payout if you were in a traffic collision within the past 2 years?
So if you ever put a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to your question.
And DeMar would respond like this.
Well, you're going to have a long way to climb to take it down, so tell him good luck.
Either way, in this petition I'm about to talk about, Drake is now suing for the mean words said in Not Like Us. We thought that just this one time he wouldn't be lame, but he expected UMG to save him, and once again he's trying to call out that payola. Earlier this year, one of the artists that UMG has under contract presented UMG with a new song called Not Like Us. Before it approved the release of the song, UMG knew that the song itself, as well as its accompanying album art and music video, attacked the character.
Let's go back there.
But he expected UMG to save him, and once again he's trying to call out that payola. Earlier this year,
one of the artists that UMG has under contract President UMG with a new song called Not Like Us before it approved the release of the song. Of the UMG knew that the song itself, as well as it accompanied album, artists, and music videos, attacked the character of another one of a UMG most artist, Dre, by falsely accusing him of being a sex offender, engaging in pedophile acts, harboring the offender, and committing other crimes. Wow.
One of the artists that UMG has under contract presented UMG with a new song called Not Like Us. Before it approved the release of the song, UMG knew that the song itself, as well as its accompanying album art and music video, attacked the character of another one of UMG's most prominent artists, Drake, by falsely accusing him of being a sex offender, engaging in pedophilic acts, harboring sex offenders, and committing other criminal acts. Specifically, the song calls Drake a certified pedophile, a predator, and someone whose name should be registered and placed on neighborhood.
So it says another one of the UMG most prominent artists, Dre, by falsely accusing him of being an offender, engaged in imperative acts, harboring offenders, and committing other sexual crimes acts. Significantly, the song called Dre a certified pedophile, a predator, a certified pedophile, a predator.
Much. I mean, I won't lie to you guys, that album art was pretty crazy. Like, imagine everyone seeing the Google Maps of your crib and always thinking about this. And I'm calling it right now, these two filings are gonna give Not Like Us a massive second wave. Drake was over here strategically planning the release of this lawsuit and petition to try and step on Kendrick's album release. And I just don't think this is going to end very well for him. When someone tries to buck against the machine in general, it normally does not end very well. Just ask Kanye. And obviously Drake has a lot of money and access to the best lawyers in the world, but the system has endless resources, both clean and dirty. I will say, though, this next part of the filing has to be the most pathetic. Pursuant to its rights under various contracts, UMG has exclusive control over the licensing of Not Like Us and could have refused to release or distribute the song or required the offending material to be edited or even removed. Like, dude, are you fucking serious? But UMG chose to do the opposite. UMG designed, financed, and then executed a plan to turn Not Like Us into a viral mega hit with the intent of using the spectrum harm to Drake and his business to drive consumer hysteria and, of course, massive. But this entire thing just reads like a quest for self-pity. Like it's supposed to be a rap battle, my guy, and now your feelings are hurt. Drake did mention Kendrick's family after he warned him not to do so, and so then he unleashed.
Rap music is weird now, I knew that.
It's like there's no way Drake can believe that this song was actually the most popular of the summer for a lot of people. Not Like Us became a movement and an anthem, as many were using the term itself for a lot of big events. And then the LA Dodgers go on to win the World Series. I mean, come on, man. And it's also very ironic to me that Drake wants to take it there when he's been one of the most played artists on the radio for the last 2.
It said Drake has more numbers, one single on the R&B hip hop airplay, hot R&B hip hop songs, hot rap songs, and airplay than any other artist. He also holds the record for the most continuous time on a Hot 100 at 431 weeks. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Drake is not a good artist, but if these rumors come out that Dre's allegedly as a snitch and setting up a petition of a lawsuit for YouTubers, because that's the rumor going out, that Dre is setting up a lawsuit for YouTubers, they're not like us, and Kendrick Lamar coming out saying you pedophile, you pedophile. You know, there's a lot of people coming out saying a lot of secret things about Drake and his secret affairs, you know what I mean, him being gay and things like that. So, you know, we here to clear, you know what I mean, to clear up things, you know what I mean. not trying to sit here and slatter this man, but you know, it says that his airplay charts and any other artist, he also held the record for the most continuous time of the hot hundreds at 431 weeks. So we're not going to sit here and say that Drake is not a good artist. You know what I mean? He got some good music. You know what I mean? So he collaborate with good artists like The Game. You know what I mean? Who They Love. You know what I mean? So like I said, what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and say that Trey is not a bad artist or anything. You know what I mean? But if these allegations true, him, filing for a petition of lawsuits of YouTubers. You know what I mean? See, I want to say, first of all, Drake has this big ego. He's so prideful. He have, he will swallow his pride because, I guess that this song with Kendrick Lamar, They Not Like Us, it hit him so bad. It hit a nerve. You know what I mean? And anytime you hear a song, They're Not Like Us, yes, it's going to hit Dre the wrong way, man. Let's roll this clip for a second.
Decades, and most likely got some strings pulled for himself background from time to time, whether he knew it or not. Either way, Drake wanted UMG to hold back this record because it does not mention him in a favorable way. I mean, he made songs about Kendrick being his wife and his best friend being the father of one of his kids, and he released that through Republic Records, who is under UMG. But nah, I guess that's supposed to be different. It's not like those lies could have possibly hurt Kendrick and his career, right? And Drake would totally be doing all of this if the public perception was that he won, right? To the victor goes the spoils, buddy. And Drake has to be the sorest loser of all time. And now there's just this stain on his reputation forever. And when that happens, it does kind of change the way that people see a person from that point on. And so
your health is your biggest asset. Find Anthem Blue Cross plans starting at $0 a month. Apply in 5 to 10 minutes for a secure future at healthforcalifornia.com.
Knock, knock. Hi there. I'd love to show you what a K-12 powered school is really like. Step inside. Here, you can dive into subjects you love. Move as fast or as slow as you need to, and let your learning soar. Cool. You'll connect with teachers and classmates, explore your interests, and learn great skills for the future. Hey, know what else is knocking? Opportunity. Discover yours. Now enrolling.
So Drake alleges that UMG was funneling payments to iHeartRadio for some payola for Not Like Us, noting that they and only they have all the rights.
Let's see what this said. It says UMG released a song Not Like Us in May 4, 2024, and its music videos on July 4, 2024. UMG relied it on its exclusive license rights and its coordination with known and unknown third parties, utilized every tool and its arsenal to spread They Not Like Us. Now, why would Dre file a lawsuit, right, a petition on YouTubers, right, that they playing the Kendrick Lamar song They Not Like Us? There's something wrong with Drake, man. He's prideful. He have this ego. You know what I mean? I guess it really touched him the wrong way when people are playing Kendrick Lamar, They Not Like Us, man. So, if this come out as saying Drake is a rat, he's a snitch, like I said, man, these people went over to his home in Toronto, shot his house up, man, shot the security. So if it comes out that these allegations is true, that Drake is a rat, he's a snitch, man, it's going to make him look real bad, man. It's going to make game over, man, because like I said, there have been many other YouTubers like Big Ticket. Big shout out to Big Ticket, man. Big shout out to all the other YouTubers, because a lot of rappers get killed for, being this gangster that they never been. And we know what happened to people that be labeled as snitch, man. So, like I said, man, it's not really looking good for Drake on his end, man. If this come out that Drake is filing a petition, man, and we're gonna look at him being snitch, man. So what else you can say, man? Let's roll this clip for a second. Hope you guys like the video. Share the video, man. Let's get this video rolling.
Do whatever they want in terms of where and how this song was distributed. UMG and iHeartMedia have a long-standing symbiotic business relationship whereby iHeartMedia pays UMG to license and collect.
It says UMG and iHeartMedia have a long-standing business relationship whereby an iHeartMedia pays UMG to license and collects royalties for UMG artists' songs over radio airplay and streaming service, as demonstrated by the iHeartMedia's bankruptcy filing in 2018. The amount of money exchanged between the iHeartMedia and UMG is substantial. In the last quarter of 2023, the UMG, through its recorded music and music publishing division, have an ownership
royalties for UMG artist songs over radio airplay and streaming services. The amount of money exchanged between iHeartMedia and UMG is substantial. In the last quarter of 2020,
so it said UMG and iHeartMedia have a long-standing business relationships.
UMG, through its recorded music and music publishing divisions, had an ownership interest in more than 60% of the 100 songs listed on the Billboard Hot 100 radio charts. Without its business deals with UMG, iHeartMedia would lose access to a majority of its top radio hits. And so UMG probably holds quite a bit of power over them. The suit then goes on to talk about how Not Like Us was played tens of millions of times.
So it says on the first week of its release, Not Like Us ranked it first on the Billboard of a Hot 100 with 5 million radio airplay audience impressions. And a week that the Not Like Us music video release, Not Like Us played on the radio in addition 40 million times. 4 months later, the iHeartRadio leaderboard reported that Not Like Us was among the top 2
on the radio, and that in total this song has been spun billions of times. Drake is very upset that till this day this song is one of the most played across iHeart's various states.
So this is the whole thing, the whole ordeal here, that Drake is upset because how this music was played 40 million times on the Billboard, and everybody been playing that. Now, like I said, he had this big ego, man, and why he's going at YouTubers and things like that, I don't know, fam. But he's going at all the YouTubers, man, signing a petition for this lawsuit, man. They're not like us, man, because how Kendrick Lamar's song was played on the Billboard 40 million times. So let's roll this clip here, man. Why Drake is a sore loser, and why, you know, people's coming at him, man. You know what I mean? Why was his Toronto home shot at? And a security shot. Come on, man. You can't make this kind of stuff up, man. Let's go and roll this footage here.
And
we got a lot to talk about, man. Let's go.
Actually just checked, and Drake does not have a single song on the Billboard Hot 100, despite releasing 12 singles this year. According to one inside source known to Petitioner,
let's go back to what this is saying. We got to go back, man. We got to go back to what this is saying, man.
And I actually just checked, and Drake does not have a single song on the Billboard Hot 100, despite releasing 12 singles this year. According to one...
It says, according to one inside source known to a petitioner, the UMG made convert payments to a number of platforms, including radio stations, to play and promote Not Like Us, without disclosing those payments to listeners. This practice known is prohibited by
inside source known to Petitioner. UMG made covert payments to a number of platforms, including radio stations, to play and promote Not Like Us without disclosing those payments to listeners. This practice, known as payola, is prohibited by the Communications Act of 1934. So he says all of that, but then later admits that he has little to no evidence to suggest that iHeart was accepting payola from UMG. Drake also continues to spread the bot narrative here, and he even cries about UMG allegedly paying influencers to spread this song, like literally every other song released during the TikTok era. Like, I don't know if this is some sort of news flash to Drake, But no matter who had the biggest song in this battle, like it doesn't matter if it was Drake or Kendrick, it was going to be a massive hit. This battle was one of the most anticipated events in hip-hop history that was built up for well over a decade. It's like Drake doesn't understand the magnitude of what he himself was involved in, and that's probably why he lost, because he treated it like a sparring session and Kendrick treated it like a championship fight. And so now Drake wants to have his own personal audit into UMG and iHeart's relationship. Petitioner brings this action for a discrete and specific...
We got the petitioner bring this act for a specified purpose to understand how the UMG fronted payments to iRadio in its radio station as part as a play-to-play scheme. Petitioner has mastered a significant facts to pursue certain claims.
Purpose to understand whether and how UMG funneled payments to iHeartRadio and its radio stations as part of a pay-to-play scheme. Petitioner has amassed sufficient facts to pursue certain tortious claims against UMG, including but not limited to a claim for defamation, but currently lacks factual support necessary to determine whether he may bring claims of the civil RICO against UMG and basically anyone else who was involved in this alleged payola scheme. So basically Drake is asking a judge for permission to peek behind the curtain just to see if these claims hold any merit at all, and then he will decide if he wants to sue them or not. To me, this entire situation has kind of just become a massive joke. I think the only worst thing he could have done here was directly sue Kendrick for calling him a PDF, but I guess if he does that, then Kendrick's wife should consider countersuing him for speaking crazy about her. But then we're just going around in like this circle jerk of lawsuits, and I don't know, I just feel like that's never really been what hip-hop is about. But yeah, either way, people are now ripping Drake apart for these decisions that he's made. They're saying that he's soft, they're saying that he's basically a sore loser. Either way, I want to know what you guys think about the lawsuit. What do you think about this petition? I do want to thank you guys though for dropping.
Hey, do you guys ever wonder why we wear these foam pieces of cheese on our heads?
Let me ask you this. Do you think that this brings about a better Drake?
I think Drake is done. I think Drake, no, hear me out. I think on the path he's going, he's done. If he drops the suit, gets back to music, it's going to be all right. But I think that he's so hurt of what we did to him. Y'all playing not like us. Y'all really gonna play Euphoria? Yeah. Better go. like that's what we played. When you were saying the Marvin's Room, you was this. Well, I'm just saying you could do better. It was like on the record, we still was bumping. Bruh, if it works for you, you can't get mad when it doesn't. That's a bit. If the ball didn't go your way this day, that's okay. Tomorrow you come back and play another day. But to complain about it all week, then you know, to play 4 games, you still talking about game 4, you still complaining. Meanwhile, they dropped the whole album. Got the box, got the West, and he gonna come to your city. And let me tell you what, I'm saying this on record. Drake, his crew, when Kendrick comes to y'all city, and by the way, shout out to QCP, because Pete, he the one that made me see this one day. If Kendrick come to y'all city, make it good on him. Let me tell you why. Because he never has to come back to Toronto again. But y'all all gotta come to LA.
Hello.
Y'all all gotta come to LA. Hello. Y'all all living. I don't never have to come to Toronto again. But you got a house in LA, your friends in LA, and y'all wanna play this. That's why you let it ride. Because we don't like, I was telling P, he was like, yo, bro, we in Atlanta. You don't gotta come to Atlanta. But we gotta go to LA. Hey. So they gonna catch up before we catch them. So let's talk about it. And to me, Kendrick is from Compton. Compton is not going anywhere. That's what I'm about to say. It's not like he's from like San Diego. He's from Orange County. He's from Compton. When you think about if LA was fighting New York right now, if LA and New York was fighting, New York would be like, we got Harlem. And LA would be like, we got Compton. And then LA would be like, New York would be like, we got Brooklyn. And they'd be like, we got Bumpton. bro, don't let nothing happen. I'm saying this as a black man that loves, like, I know people in Drake camp. I know people over there, my people. I don't want nobody to get hurt. But y'all tell him, yo, bro, I don't think, like,
I don't even think it'll go. I don't even think,
man, listen.
See, the whole purpose, what they saying is Kendrick Lamar from Compton, Dre from Toronto. He ain't got no killers what Kendrick Lamar got in Compton. You see, that's the difference what they saying, man. And see what Drake playing, he's playing a hard game here, man. You know what I mean? After filing petitions, lawsuits on YouTubers, man, what I'm hearing yesterday that a lot of YouTubers was coming out inboxing me saying that what's up with these lawsuits Drake's filing on YouTubers, man? What's up with these lawsuits that he's filing? You know what I mean? They're not like us. See, Drake got this ego. He got this pride, man. You know what I mean? Because Kendrick Lamar music hit the Billboard 40 million times, and people was playing They're Not Like Us, man. And what's on the lawsuit, the pedophile and all that, and instead of making a new song and hitting back, man. But he's going all the way to be this rat, and this is why in his hometown Toronto, his house was shot at, man. His security was shot at. He's playing with his life, man. This is why I say, you know what I mean, his career could be over with. He's in danger and he don't even know it, man. This is why we lose a lot of these artists, man. He's playing with fire that he can't get himself out of. Let's roll this clip for a second.
If anything, maybe more the fans who try to get. I don't know. No. I mean, I think that they try to be doing, but I don't know.
That guy top 5 literally said, "Let's see if that show happens." Bro, listen to y'all. Yeah, we don't never have to come to Canada, but you gonna go to LA. And when you get to LA and you land, and you know you landed, and they're like, you in the city and you, bro, it's just dog. Just watch it. If Kendrick was from Arizona, I would say, we go to Arizona. I mean, I might go once or twice a year, but we in LA every week.
Word. You got that down to a geological. The level of chess that you are on right now,
bro. By the way, when you know what you know. So I will make that man easy. Let him come in the city, set work out. Don't do nothing because I promise you, I know I'm dying. 2 teams and this is really like no, they don't even smile, bro. Like don't with them. Just lick them because you know you see carpet.
So what he's saying is, man, when you go to LA, man, these people don't smile, man. You don't play. And when you in LA, you can't play, man. That's game banging at its finest. Game banging for real, man. You can't play. Now he was bringing up that now if Kendrick Lamar was in Arizona, man, now you know what I mean, you could probably squash a little issue. But when you come to LA, man, you can't play, man. You got LA known for game banging, man. You got all these different, you know what I mean, sets and hoods and things like that, man. This is different, man. This is different. This is why I feel that Drake's, you know what I mean, career can be over, man. His life could be in danger, man. He playing with fire that he can't get himself out.
Medicine society, like don't fuck with that. And by the way, they're like that in every city. Right. All I'm saying is that we don't have to go to their city. Yeah. I never have to come to the hood in Toronto. If you're gonna be in Beverly Hills at mass shows or one of them restaurants, and the way they're gonna tip, and you're gonna walk out and see a whole bunch of with hats on, looking at you like what's up, and it's gonna be bad. So in LA, fight. So they ain't even gonna kill. They'll fight you and then kill. They will square off with you. That's their culture. They in the backyard doing the 60. Like we fighting. So bro, it's okay. Sometimes you just met a better man that day, and you got that. It happens to everybody. Go home, get in shape, or go away. But don't just whip your ass and you start to fight.
I don't think you can kill Taylor Swift though. I hear what you're saying where you think that
you can't compare Taylor Swift to Drake.
I think
they're
so.
Totally different.
Drake is a pop star.
Taylor Swift. Let me tell you something. Taylor Swift does not say Nick.
No, I know that.
Taylor Swift. No. That is very important to acknowledge because the minute you start saying you one of us,
whole other.
The minute you can say Nick, you one of us. And guess what? You say, said it. Okay, cool. You one of us. So guess what? You can't compare to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, though, her fan base doesn't care about if she's real or not. Her fan base doesn't care. Drake isn't rap. We care.
But I don't think Drake isn't just rap. Right? Drake, you go to the Caribbean and they're going to play his music and nobody knows a thing he's saying.
Of course not. He's not just,
saying? So,
he's a rapper.
So Drake's numbers are always going to be up.
No, LeBron is a billionaire, right? What does LeBron sell? Sneakers, media. He got media company, movies. He got like everything. You know, all that happening because of what he does on the court.
Okay.
If he stops doing that, he doesn't get none of it. That's what I'm telling you.
LeBron could leave now, and he's still. He's
good leave now because he's 22 years in. He can leave now. Right? No. But guess what? If LeBron got dunked on, or LeBron's son got dunked on by a player on the Memphis Grizzlies, LeBron filed a class action lawsuit against the NBA. That's about the business is business. You win some, you lose some. The blessing is you get up the next day and fight.
Yeah.
That's why when someone dies, we mourn it because he can't fight or she can't fight. But the next day, you got a chance to get up and fight. And I think everybody's looking forward to it. I'm like a movie buff. You ever seen Superman 2? Superman 2 is one of my favorite Supermans. You want to know why? Okay. Superman 2 is the one where he was fighting the three people in black. You know that? Now, remember that part where Superman, he's been perfect. No, that curl. Yeah. And that moved. And here comes General Zod throwing buttons at people. He left and didn't want to be Superman no more. Got that scooped in the bar. They said, I don't want to be Superman. Everybody has a bad day. Don't let a bad day think you have a bad life.
Hello. Yeah, he's not wearing it too well, I feel like.
Because he likes kids with us.
You know what though? I think this is the thing though. I feel like too many people have. I feel like people are trying to gang up on somebody, right? Like it seems like that. As far as like the journal, I think people are afraid to speak up for Drake.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Now I don't know this to be a fact, but what are they telling the world? Like if my family is here and somebody come and start jumping on me and my family allow it to happen, what did my family just tell y'all? We don't like that. Yeah. We don't with that. He's our family, we don't with that nigga. So, we're telling the world what it is, bro. You're telling the world what it is. You're mad because you lost. You better get your 767 and fly around the world for the next 2 years and make people call you and say, we miss Drake, we miss Drake, we miss Drake. And when you come back, they're going to forget about the Kendrick loss. But you still going on. You announced the custard. Okay. Yeah. You need one of Mustard Beats right now, my nigga.
I feel like something's coming.
I think what's coming is the end. How do you play this? Okay. How do you play? Let me say when I say the end. Let me tell you what I mean by the end. The end to me means the peak. He's hit his peak. There'll be another higher moment. That's what I mean by the end. Like
as far as the undefeated, there's a stain there.
My dog. It's like he likes getting right. Floyd has built his career on TDE 50-0. Every time he get in the ring, he given a chance for that dash on the other side of the turf from a 0 to a 1. That's why he take it so. That's why he's so great. Bro, you lost. You underestimate your opponent. That's one of the laws of power. Never underestimate your opponent. He did, and by the way, not only did he beat you, he's the biggest he's ever been. He just dropped the album that got crazy records on it, and he about to do the Super Bowl while you over in Australia performing for people that never see you before. Get 15 years because you was over here getting money. Now, what can we do for the Super Bowl? How can I make sure that people don't ask me where I'm at for the Super Bowl? I'm gonna be on tour. Let me go somewhere where no one is seeing me.
I can't see the Lions though. What's gonna fill up the stadium?
What is you supposed to do? It's gonna be. Guess what? The stadium is gonna be 98% white. You and I know, all y'all know, y'all all know in this room know that once that audience ratio,
I didn't even know Australia had black people.
Wait. It's like MC Hammer. We see the MC Hammer movie, and it was just niggas in the, let's get it started. It was niggas that, my name is Hammer. We was loving that nigga. There we go. Too legit.
Listen, I'm not changing my stance. I think Drake's got something coming for everybody. And it's gonna change the game. And I'm excited to see it.
I'm really good at this. You know what? I'm really good at this. There's something came 6 months ago. It's called 100 gigs. That's why he's mad at Universal because they didn't promote it. He's really blaming the. What can you, if you know,
what 100 gigs was that?
It was his offering. It was his way of saying, okay, that's over. Let's talk about this. And we didn't talk about it. It was like a guard way to do it. Yes, nicely. Yes, and to me, it's like, dog, you tried and you put that out, but
you're muffling what just happened.
It's like the elephant in the room is you want to say something. It's weird.
But he's still the guy that is bringing in the most money to these streaming platforms, right? He is still the most streamed artist. What does that say about him?
That says that his peak is so high that it's slowly coasting down. He's so high, he's going to close down. I don't want him to lose, but the rate he's going to lose.
If Drake drops a surprise album this Friday,
how many albums you think it does? How many what you think it does?
What it takes? 450.
Okay, now see, this is how I think. By the way, this is how I think.
My man.
What's the album about? You can't just drop it. You wasn't gonna drop the album talking about girl?
I think
So you mean to tell me you're gonna what? Oh, and it don't swallow up and all of that. So you have to. And he will lose.
You better talk about
bitches don't like losers.
You better talk.
I'm not being honest. Bitches like, listen. Just like I'm leaving with the winner. I'm coming with the winner. I'm leaving with the winner. That's what a woman. We know that as men. That's why we gotta watch ourselves and make sure, because she will leave.
A new series gives unprecedented access to an elite Mexican task force who capture American fugitives and bring them to justice. Fugitive Hunters Mexico. Watch now. Part of the crime and investigation event. Only on A&E. Watch next day on the A&E app.
If you like options, you'll love my $6 all-day big deal meal. Choose from 4 delicious entrees and 5 tasty sides with a drink. Oh, and nobody else includes breakfast items all day. Just this guy. At Jack, every bite's a big deal. Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Like empires, prices rise and fall.
You could be owed up to $500,000 from Uber's alleged misconduct settlement. Discover if you...
So then now I gotta dig deeper into who the person is. Now I gotta dig in and see, what are y'all like? What's your family like? Oh, your dad left you at 5. Oh, I get that. He never walked you to the bus stop. You're mad about this. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's like, man, your mom, she never remarried. Oh, you don't even know what like family is. So of course you don't dig marriage.
Everybody is very, very excited about the elimination of Drake.
Yo,
you not excited, we're just energized.
I mean, there's a lot to take in. Because like you said, you like people. You and Drake was neighbors once upon a time.
That wasn't my choice.
Hey, I heard you like them young.
Get out the way, man.
Get out the way. Get me out the way, homie. You a lame too. Hey, Drake, you on the phone with an A minor. Let's go.
So, at Penn Foster, I can earn my high school diploma online, on my time, and on my budget.
I can start school when I'm ready.
I can balance school with my life and job.
I can graduate early and get a head start on my goals.
I can take the time I need without work.
It looks like the whole rap game has turned their back on Drake. And guess who's out here saying, I told you also? None other than Pusha T, who's been trying to warn us about Drake for years now. And get this, word on the street is that Pusha and Kanye have finally squashed their beef, and they are back in the lab cooking up some new heat. And guess what? They reportedly have a Drake diss track in the works. Talk about pouring gasoline on the fire. Meanwhile, more rappers are hopping on anti-Drake wave after Kendrick Lamar straight up humiliated him with that Not Like Us video. Everybody's clowning Drake for even thinking he could go toe to toe with K-Dot and disrespect West Coast. Honestly, if I was Drake, I wouldn't set foot on the West Coast anymore or even step outside for a while because the backlash is crazy right now. So what did Pusha T have to say about Drake getting destroyed by Kendrick and basically banned from the West Coast? And are Pusha and Kanye really about to go in on Drake with another diss? Let's break it down.
That's what I get. I get clown feelings from that. I look at him. There's somebody, I get the picture of the actual photo that I used of the blackface. Right. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense.
Ever since Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, California has been straight up dancing on Drake's grave, and they are not done gloating about his downfall yet. This track got all the haters of the 69 God united like never before in hip-hop history. But on the flip side, it also brought a special bond back to California and the whole West Coast. Part of this is because LA took down the biggest rap artist in the game in a legendary rap battle. But also it's because, for a minute now, Drake has been saying some things that have rubbed the West Coast the wrong way and disrespecting legends like Tupac. Now, while Kendrick and Drake's beef has been simmering for more than a decade, the animosity the West Coast has for Drizzy is pretty fresh. So if you remember, on Drake's first official diss track aimed at Kendrick, Push-Ups, he had the nerve to claim that he's more loved in Los Angeles than Kendrick is, rapping. Get more love in the city that you from. And while Kendrick didn't clap back at this specific line in any of his tracks, you could tell it got under his skin. Instead of just talking about it, Kendrick let his actions speak louder than words. He put on one of the most epic rap shows in recent memory, showing the whole world the West Coast has and always will be Team Kendrick.
I ain't gonna lie to you, watching that concert, it was like the first time like I seen his rap like transition, like there people stuck in my head.
Judging by the massive turnout at Kendrick's concert, the lineup of artists who performed, and the legendary figures who joined Kendrick on stage to rap Not Like Us, it's crystal clear that Drake does not get more love from Kendrick City. So what it looks like is that Drake made the mistake of confusing LA with Hollywood, thinking just because he's a bigger star in certain circles than Kendrick, that it meant the entire West Coast would take his side. But LA and Hollywood are not the same, hun, and that mix-up cost Drake big time. Van Lathan recently talked about this in his Higher Learning podcast with Rachel Lindsay, and he said that Drake confused West Hollywood for Inglewood.
Delilah for Watts.
Which he shows up.
He confused Poppy for Compton. He confused West Hollywood for Inglewood.
Mm-hmm.
The people that I seen, the people that I observed bopping to Not Like Us, they was two-step.
Yeah, they were.
They were crip walking to that.
They were.
That was some LA. The record is produced by DJ Mustard, a former.
Is she texting someone behind your back? A single Spokio search can help you find out who she's messaging. Spokio can also help you discover other details like photos, email addresses, current residences, and more. Try Spokio today and uncover the truth about the people around you.
Starting today, anyone can monetize with ads. As part of the all-new Beehive ad network, thousands of newsletters.
Drake collaborated. When it was time for people to coalesce in Los Angeles, not in Hollywood, not in Calabasas, not in West Hollywood, not in Santa Monica, not in the places you might go, not in Beverly Hills, not in the places that people from outside of Los Angeles fit.
We talking about Compton. We not talking about Hollywood. We not talking about West Hollywood, North Hollywood that Drake goes to. We talking about Compton, where Kendrick Lamar get all his love, all his recognition from, man. Kendrick is loved through all the LA areas, man. We're not talking about Hollywood, man. We're not talking about those places, man. We talking about the big city places, man. The LA is well known, man. Come on, man. Let's play this clip.
or Los Angeles, right? When it was time for people to coalesce around the record, the people I seen dancing to it was Shamika, Big Ron, Lil CC. You know what I'm saying? People like that. People like the people from the low bottoms. You know, people that are going to die, that are from LA. People get their LAs confused all the time.
Drake clearly underestimated Kendrick and the love he gets in his own city. And now it's looking like Drake's Hollywood dreams just got a rude awakening from the real LA. Because when there's a cultural disconnect about what your rival calls his city, you've already messed up big time and pissed off a whole lot of folks in the process. And it boggles the mind how no one on Drake's team warned him about this. But child, Drake went and made an even bigger fool of himself with this whole AI mess, using Tupac and Snoop's voices to throw shade at Kendrick on that tailor-made freestyle track. Drake had Pac and Snoop sounding like they were all disappointed in Kendrick's behavior, and even Pac's own family had to check Drake for disrespecting Pac's legacy. Tupac's estate threatened legal action against Drake and forced him to pull tailor-made freestyle from his social media accounts. Howard E. King, the lawyer for the Tupac Shakur estate, called tailor-made freestyle a flagrant violation of Tupac's publicity and the estate's legal right, and a blatant of the legacy of one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. King said in a statement, the estate would never have given its approval for this use. The unauthorized, equally dismaying use of Tupac's voice against Kendrick Lamar, a good friend to the estate who has given nothing but respect to Tupac and his legacy publicly and privately, compounds the insult. Tupac's brother Mopreme also criticized Drake for using an AI-generated voice of Pac to diss Kendrick, implying it was a cowardly move on Drake's part.
But the question was about AI. You know, and just because you can do something, that doesn't mean you should do something. Me personally, I'm from the old school, you know, Queens, New York, Jamaica. That's why I got my bones. You know what I mean? So the way we battle rap, because, you know, from what I understand, it's a battle. If it's a battle, it should be mano y mano. At my humble opinion, it should be mano y mano. Skill against skill, flow against flow. You know, when you put AI into the game, you make sure balance.
Now fast forward to Not Like Us, and Kendrick really went in on Drake about even thinking the Bay would let him disrespect Pac. And during that pop-up show in Inglewood, Kendrick directly called out Drake's stunt and told the crowd not to let anybody mock and imitate their legends.
Oh, so y'all ain't gonna let nobody disrespect the West Coast, huh? Oh, y'all let nobody mock and imitate our legends, huh?
So
Uber made a big mistake, allegedly not doing thorough enough background checks on its drivers. And now, certain Uber and Lyft riders may qualify for large settlements.
So Drake's been flaunting Tupac's ring ever since he bought it at a Sotheby's auction last year for over $1 million, more than 3 times what they thought it would go for. Understandably, this got Kendrick and the whole West Coast all kinds of bother. Kendrick first brought up the ring on his diss track Euphoria, where he raps, "Somebody told me you got a ring. On God, I'm ready to double the wage. I'd rather do that than let a Canadian ninja make Pac turn in his grave." But Kendrick wasn't done. During his Inglewood pop-up show, he switched up a line from Euphoria rapping, "Give me Tupac ring back and I might give you a little respect." And then when you think about the fact that Kendrick straight up labeled Kendrick a colonizer on Not Like Us, it got fans saying Drake is collecting hip-hop memorabilia the same way the British colonizer collected all those artifacts for their museums. So now the West Coast is riding high off this victory, and Drake better watch his step if he ever thinks about heading back that way. And while we definitely have to thank Kendrick for the fact that hating on Drake and his entire persona is extremely popular right now, let's not forget that before Kendrick, there was Pusha T. And Pusha made a similar statement about Drake being a culture vulture when he used a photo of Drake in blackface for his 2018 diss track, The Story of Adidon.
You know, I look at him and I'm like, oh, like you parade your dad around in these weird suits. You parade him. It's clown-like. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That's what I get. I get clown feelings from that. I look at him. There's somebody, you know, I get the picture of the actual photo that I used of the blackface. Right. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense. You parade your dad around. This was done in 2008. This was done in 2008. You don't even know that that's not right. That you like, there's no explanation for that to me.
Pusha also put Drake on the spot for staying silent on all black issues, pointing out that Drake only aligns himself with Black American culture when he can make a profit from it.
Man, I'm Pusha T. Like, listen, the biggest highlight of my life, happened in the past few years. Me messing with like Obama and prison reform and so on and so forth. Like, like, come on. Like, this is me, right? Dope boy, blah, 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 everything. This is real me. Like, you are silent in all black issues, Drake. You really are. You are really, really silent. I don't hear about anything. You don't stand for nothing. You don't say nothing about nothing. You don't. It's just what it is. Like, you have all the platform in the world. You were so passionate back then. No, you weren't. That's number one. That's what I know. Number two, you gotta think about who a person really, really is, and it's like, okay, bang. That's why it's okay. That's why it's okay for you to take a photo like this. You didn't even know it was right. You don't even know how fully. You don't know where you stand at. Mm-hmm. You don't know where you stand at. Oh, that's why you gotta, you highlight your dad clowning like that. Oh, you run to the Memphis. Oh, I'm Memphis, Houston. That's my black side. You never related.
And this is something Pusha's longtime collaborator Kanye West also recently touched on during his appearance on the Download podcast. But Kanye being Kanye, he went a step further, adding on to the whole colonizer narrative by calling out Universal Music CEO and referring to him as Drake's rich baby daddy.
I'm no author, but I sell thousands of books on Amazon every single month. And the crazy thing is, I didn't write a word of them myself. It's a new way to earn income on Amazon. I think it's better than selling products because you don't need to ship products, you don't need to deal with factories and overseas suppliers or paying to store inventory. There's already over 1,000 people making $100,000 a year.
It cuts Drake's soul. It's like he signed his soul to the devil to not be cool with me, to have to this is his job to go against God. Wow. And it cuts his soul. But what is it specifically about Drake that everyone hates? I just have to know that, because it's like for everybody, all of the great, Weeknd, Pluto, Metro, Ross, Kendrick, there's something obviously wrong with this one individual that no one wants to speak about, and I feel like you're the only person that's gonna really put it out there. Now you say rich baby daddy, it's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal. Wow. He's like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian. So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucian. Well, Lucian worked for people who control the banks in Africa, who keep, oh my God. Think about it. We have Black Wall Street, we have Harlem, we've been gentrified, and we ain't really been pulled together since, other than to maintain what they call the black vote, which you don't have an opinion in that vote. And then they get all these celebrities, they go on TV like, we got a problem with his political opinion. He's out of control. He's bipolar. He's anti-Semite. He's whatever they want to call somebody to try to get people to not listen or have, take away the influence. But look, it's just, I'm God.
Now, as for how Pusha and Kanye are reacting to Kendrick basically banishing Drake from the West Coast, even though Pusha and Ye are not from there, they're all in on this celebration. Not only are they giving Kendrick props for calling out Drake's colonizer ways, but word on the street is that Pusha and Kanye are back in the studio cooking up some new tracks. And sources are saying they're not letting this whole Drake and the colonizer narrative slide and are planning to address it even more in their new music. As for fans, they're saying if Pusha T really decided to come for Drake again, it's gonna get crazy, because the last time Pusha dissed Drake, he practically forced him into becoming a present father to the son he had been hiding from the world. So there's no telling what else Pusha might have up his sleeve. One fan said, "I'm still mad that Pusha wasn't allowed to finish The Boy in 2018. The man said he had filing cabinets of info. He was bored and ready. The beef was just starting to get good." And someone else added, "Gift us that Pusha Kanye feature, please. But let me know your takes on Kendrick uniting uniting the whole West Coast against Drake. And how do you feel about these rumors Pusha and Kanye are planning to go in on Drake again? Is it an overkill at this point, or do you think Drake deserves to be exposed even more? Drop your comments below and make sure you stick around for this next video.
Did you know you could be entitled to a 5 or 6 figure payout if you were in a traffic collision within the past 2 years? Yes, even if you weren't the driver. Just click on the link around this video to discover how much you're entitled to. Fill out a free 30-second quiz and you're done. Because if you've had to miss work or been hurt by a motorist in the past 2 years, you may be owed money and you don't even know it. It could be a 5, 6, or even 7-figure settlement. Simply click the link to find out. Over 25,000 accident victims have recovered $15 billion collectively with free case evals without stepping foot in a courtroom, paying excessive legal fees, or having to navigate the insurance gauntlet alone. Even pedestrians, rideshare users, cyclists, and motorcyclists got the justice they deserved. Like Stephen. When Stephen first came to us, he was facing a lot of uncertainties in his life, and he wasn't sure if his case was going to be worth anything. Turns out, if he hadn't filed a claim with us, he would have missed out on over $100,000 in settlement from an accident that was over a year ago. It's possible. No matter what you thought in the past, you can get money you're owed, and possibly a lot more than what you were expecting. While we can't turn back the clock and help you avoid the hardships you've experienced, we can help you secure your future by getting you a generous settlement for missed work, hospital bills, and property damage. So, what's going to happen after you fill out the 30-second quiz? Within 24 hours, an experienced local attorney from our network will contact you for an over-the-phone virtual consultation at no cost. After that, just tell them about your case. Sit back and wait for the check to clear in as little as 30 days. What's more, your new lawyer is incentivized to do everything in their power to help you, since they don't get paid until you win. To get started now, click on the link to fill out the free 30-second quiz. Believe it or not, some victims feel bad for holding someone accountable. They don't want to cause any trouble. They don't want others to think that they're scamming the system. Don't let this be you. It's not true. You're entitled to compensation. It's the law. Simply click the button below and answer the questions about your case. If you qualify, an attorney from our team will reach out with a game plan same day and for free. Wouldn't it be helpful to have an extra $10,000 or even $100,000 in your life right now? Don't you deserve to have some breathing room and security after all the hardships you've experienced? How would it feel to not worry about medical bills, rent, or living expenses for a few months? If you were not at fault, you don't deserve to be punished, even if you're not a driver in the accident. Are you still wondering if this applies to you? Well, if you haven't hired an attorney yet and haven't received a settlement, this means you. Please note that the accident can't be your fault, and it must have happened within the past 2 years. What do you have to lose? Click on the link to fill out the free 30-second quiz right now.
January is the time for fresh start, building habits that last, make us feel healthy and strong. These are backs that keeps you connected to the ground, so you can flex, adapt, and strengthen with every step. It strengthens feet, improves balance, and creates a solid foundation for every movement. This January, build your base from the ground up. Embrace movement, strength, and the joy of feeling connected to your body.
You could be owed up to $500,000 from Uber's alleged misconduct settlement. Discover if you qualify in minutes. Uber made a big mistake, allegedly not doing thorough enough background checks on its drivers. And now, certain Uber and Lyft riders may qualify for large settlements. If you've faced sexual harassment in a rideshare since 2019, don't ignore this. A quick questionnaire could determine if you're eligible for compensation. In fact, CNN, PBS, Fortune, and NPR are all talking about the potential payouts to victims. Because it's not the first time it's happened. Boy Scouts of America, the Catholic Church, and even the U.S. gymnastics team have been ordered by the courts to pay out anywhere from $65,000 up to $1.5 million to each victim who filled out a questionnaire stating that an incident happened to them. And now it's happening again with Uber, and you can find out if you're eligible for compensation. I know it may sound too good to be true that you could actually be compensated and get justice. But a court is saying that Uber allegedly may not have done proper background checks, putting riders in danger. Which means you might be entitled to a life-changing settlement. And the justice you deserve if you have had an incident with Uber in the last 5 years. This isn't the first time Uber has been in hot water. They've already been ordered to pay out millions in settlements. But this time it's bigger. The attorneys are just waiting for the victims to come forward to share their stories before pushing this through all at once. Lawyers estimate that individual Uber sexual assault lawsuit settlement amounts could range between $10,000 up to and over $500,000 per person. But it's important to put a stop to this. It's about more than the money. Rose McGowan and Ashley Judd came forward and told their story with the Weinstein case. And because of their bravery, justice was had. You have the chance to do the same for Uber or Lyft. If you think you may have experienced inappropriate behavior or worse in an Uber in the last 5 years, this is your last chance to join in on the class action lawsuit before it gets pushed through just like these others. When you fill out a simple questionnaire, you'll find out if you may qualify for compensation. Your information will remain completely confidential, and you decide how much of your story you want to share. That way, you qualify for the lawsuit before it's closed. No fees up front, and the lawyers only get paid if everyone wins. You can decide later if you'd like to move forward as part of the suit. But if you keep this story to yourself, you may never know. Click through this ad now and answer a couple basic multiple choice questions about your situation to see if you qualify. We'll analyze your answers right there on the spot and provide you with next steps if you decide to proceed. Click through now before the deadline and let's see if you qualify.
Who is Future? Well, you know who Future is. He's the 5th most streamed music artist of the last 15 years. He's the biggest influence for an entire generation of music artists. Not just rap, but also the entire pop music industry started biting Future's sound. But what a lot of people don't realize is that he's also the most misunderstood artist of our time.
My life is a movie, I gotta stay focused.
You know, because it's not an art if it's easy to do.
That's what's wrong right now. Everybody trying to rap the same style with the, I don't know who created it, if it was Future or Migos, but all them niggas sound the same.
There's a reason why Future not only created the pop trap wave, but he also outlived it. More than a meme, he isn't a trend at all. Future's been making music since before I was born. Over 20 years spent honing the craft of his songwriting and vocal delivery, a story that most people wouldn't understand if they only listened to his biggest hits. He doesn't just make entertaining songs. For Future, music is a science, and his understanding of people and business learned over decades has taken him from a struggling artist with 300 fans to over 50 million monthly listeners. So what can we learn from Future, and how can we follow in his footsteps to create our own meaningful, impactful stories? I'm Philip, this is Volksgeist, and you're watching the true story of Future. If you're interested in more of my creations, my new brand Spirit World just relaunched our sold-out necklace after it's been back-ordered for 6 months. Every necklace is made of full 925 sterling silver with hand-painted enamel in the design of a sun rising over a night full of silver stars. They're designed by me, and the brand directly supports Volksgeist while also telling stories with powerful meaning for every creative person. I made the necklaces to be a reminder that whatever your goal is, the only way to reach it is to just keep going. Whatever kind of success you're chasing, persistence and belief is the key, because there can't be any light without dark. There can't be success without struggle. If you want to support my work and buy a pendant from our collection, feel free to pick up at the link below. And shipping is free in the US forever, so go to spiritworld.store to buy a necklace now or stick till the end for a discount code that's just for my viewers. Plus, one random buyer from the first 10 orders off this video will have their purchase completely refunded and will get their necklace for free. The tricky thing about telling Future's story is that he hides in plain sight. A lot like his lyrics, the lyricist himself can be difficult to understand.
I don't really let people into my world. You've got to save something for yourself. You can't just let everybody know everything about you.
Because when you look through almost all of his interviews, there are subtle deflections or just plain contradictions in many of his statements. It's almost like he says something different based on whoever he's talking to. Even a journalist like Elliot Wilson, who's known Future for a long time, says that generally he's funny and easy to talk with. But as soon as the recorded interview begins, something in him changes and speaking with Future becomes a chess match. But forget Elliot Wilson. Even Future himself said this.
Man, the person I am, man, I can't even really talk about it. Can't let a nigga beat me. I'm telling you some shit. Half of the shit I tell you might be the truth, half, but it might not be, man. Yeah.
One minute, he'll say he really is the person in his lyrics, but then he'll say this.
You know what I mean? I'm not like super drugged out, a drug addict. My music may portray a certain kind of image. I know there's some people that might be super drugged out and they listen to the music like, hey, thank you, he's speaking for me. And some people that's not, they feel like, man, I don't have to do drugs. I can listen to the Future and feel like I'm on something. Like, you don't have to try it. I don't do it for you to really have to live that type of life.
Sometimes he'll say he doesn't need to change his persona to appeal to his fans.
Don't be afraid to be yourself. If you're doing what you think people might like rather than doing what you like, people will see through it.
Make the music that I know that people want. I know they won't do ratchet shit.
But you talk a lot about drugs in your music.
Yeah, because I feel like that's the number one thing.
So why do we really want to know who Future is? Not because it's a witch hunt, but if an artist's music ranks as the 5th most streamed of the entire decade, it means that there's something in the mixture we relate to, deep down, even if we don't know it. Maybe it's the case that something about Future is deeply human, and good or bad, it really does speak to us. You don't achieve his level of enduring popularity by just being passively entertaining or a momentary trend. Future has had not just a good rap career, but one of the longest ones in modern history. Why and how does someone have what it takes to achieve such an unlikely feat? Who do you have to be to become larger than life? With Future, it's truly hard to say. There are so many inconsistencies in his words. Is the Future the world knows now truly him, or is it a method and a plan? Maybe there's also a pain he avoids by blurring who he really is. He said in a 2016 Rolling Stone interview,
"You come to this world and you make 2 lives. You gotta make the most of your second life. I was born Navadius, but now I'm Future. Should I dwell on what Navadius was supposed to be, I get a chance to experience life as something else. I wasn't supposed to be like this."
So before we can understand Future, we have to meet Navadius.
If I didn't meet Future when I met him, he most definitely wouldn't have been Future. I don't think the music stuff would have ever happened for him.
You just heard a quote from Rico Wade, Future's older cousin. But more than just being Future's cousin, he was also part of the production trio Organized Noise that discovered Outkast and produced their debut album. He also started the Dungeon Family Collective, whose members, apart from just Outkast, included Goody Mob, Killer Mike, and a ton of other legendary Atlanta artists. Rico Wade is so influential on his own that some people have called Future an industry plant just for being related to him. Future describes Rico as a father figure, and he agrees that he wouldn't have ever even made music seriously, let alone succeeded, without Rico's influence.
Rico is like my cousin, but he took me in and I played like a father figure role. He was just always there on that support for the most part.
But just being related to Rico Wade doesn't make Future a nepo baby like some people seem to think. The real story is, like all real stories, just a bit more complicated than that. Future was born Navadius Damon Wilburn
in the winter of 1983. Wilburn being his mother's last name because his father wasn't even around to sign his birth certificate. Looking back at an interview from 2016, we know that Navadius's first ever dream job as a kid was to be an architect or a doctor, but as we know now, he was gradually pushed down a different path. Because Future grew up poor in Atlanta, one of the cities hardest hit by the crack epidemic of the 80s and the 90s. When Future was just a kid in elementary school, the world around him was suffering. His mother, who worked full-time as a 911 operator, was opposed to drugs. She even went on to cut ties with him later in life after finding out that he was selling drugs on the street. But despite his mother trying her best, almost everyone else around Navadius was involved in crime and drugs. I had multiple aunties and uncles that were on drugs. When you grow up in something, you don't even know if it's bad or good. You just know that's how it is. When you realize that's the kind of life you're born into, a career like being an architect or a doctor can seem impossibly far away. And before long, Future was swept up into a powerful tide and started dealing drugs to make money. In a place like inner city Atlanta, there's often no other way. During this time in Navadius' life, he was often driven to school by a junkie named Fred whenever his family couldn't, and while he was at school, his grandmother would handle drug transactions with his customers at her house. He was later shot in the hand at the age of 16 and dropped out of high school without finishing the 12th grade. At the age of 17, around the year 1999 or 2000, Navadius managed to meet his famous producer cousin Rico Wade for the first time. But Rico sent him away thinking he was just a hustler or a scammer from Kirkwood pretending to be his cousin for clout. But months later, they met again at the funeral of a shared uncle, and Rico Wade realized that they were actually cousins.
I needed him to be right beside me. I want to know who is my Uncle Boot. See, that's my granddad. Who is my Uncle Will? I want to know all about my family. They all got locked up when we were young. So that's my dad. And the more I know about him, the more I know about me. The trade-off was he was a star. He was already rapping before I met him. But now he got a chance to see it's real. And since my family was like, well, I'm gonna give you the game. I'm gonna give you everything I know.
Really meeting and starting to get close with Rico Wade gave Navadius the hope and motivation for a good life that previously seemed impossible for someone like him.
I'm coming from the hood, and I go straight to Rico's house. He got maids, and I never even ate at a good restaurant until I went with Rico. You know what I'm saying? I never knew nobody that was legal that made money until my cousin Rico, someone who had actually achieved their dreams and dreamed, and it came to life one day. Like, I actually could. I never still took it for granted. I never was like, I just always was a cousin, you know what I'm saying? I never felt like I was Future then.
But before he found success, he almost threw this chance away.
First time I went to the dungeon, my uncle died. I went over there, but I did a song. It was like one verse and a hook. But I really was shy away from it because there was so many people in the studio, and then they acting like, oh, just his cousin, just trying to get the fame, come around. They didn't really want me here, so I just never came back to the dungeon. Then my other uncle died like 3 months later. So I just thought about, like, man, forget what they even thinking about me, how they look at me. I'ma still just come over. I ain't never going back to Kirkwood. So I just stayed over there. I ain't go back for like a year. I just stayed over his house. I never left. If they look at me crazy or anything, I just still was just like, man, I'm not leaving. This time I ain't leaving.
Everyone else there was about 10 years older than him, and the story goes that at one point, a Dungeon family member called G-Rock offhandedly said, "Man, you're the future." And at that moment, a casual joke about his age gave birth to a future musical superstar who would far outgrow the success of everyone in the room. Generally, a lot of people assume trap rappers might not be serious artists or businessmen just because of their loud, flashy personas. But I'm always reminded of the time 19-year-old Young Thug gave insightful marketing commentary on a Reddit thread like 10 years ago.
Within 30 seconds of you rapping, how often do you mention bitches, clubs, expensive cars, and booze?
Nothing in the first 30 seconds. Everyone knows you want to wait until the 45-second mark, dick. And I've never mentioned an expensive car in anything for what it's worth. I make a product for a certain audience and I'm good at it. Supply and demand, simple economics. I don't do this because I love the attention. I do this because I have a certain skill set that allows me to get paid without the threat of doing federal time. And similarly, today, there's a perception of Future being a larger-than-life cartoon character who doesn't have a deeper story or technique behind the music he makes. But that couldn't be further from reality. It took Future a lot of practice and knowledge to get where he is now. This is what he said in a 2014 interview. Only the OGs, they know that. The young kids, they don't really understand. They just hear what they want to hear. But it's all good. I know the people that understand music, They know where it's coming from.
At that time, he was turning 31, and his second studio album had just dropped. But since the age of 18, Future has been working on the craft of songwriting and even production nonstop, learning not only from his cousin Rico Wade, but also everyone else who came through to work in Rico's studio. From a young age, he got to watch legendary artists at work. People like Andre 3000, Goody Mob, Killer Mike, even Trey Songz, Snoop Dogg, Ludacris, T.I. At this stage, obviously, he was just a fly on the wall, pretty young, not too confident, didn't even try to network or say too much, but he was learning the whole time. The Dungeon family artistic ethos was to give people what they wanted, but to still be as creative and different as possible. Every Dungeon member had a different style.
Iron sharpens iron. I think that maybe is what helped everybody have different styles. Because if you can't read around, you weren't gonna get those features. Like you weren't gonna be able to even be on each other's albums. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had something different.
And Future took notes. You can hear it in his influences. Yes, he's always been a rapper, but he's taken more than a little inspiration from other music styles as well. Artists like Barry White, Anita Baker, Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield. Even as a kid, Future has talked about being enamored by hearing his grandmother sing Amazing Grace at the house.
I know the essence of this shit. I studied melody, songs like Amazing Grace, and the pain of it, he says before humming the chorus. It just feels like pain. It feels like struggle. I recognize pain through melody, and it naturally comes out of me at times.
Some of you might not even believe me when I say that Future's favorite song of all time always being drawn to melodies that are simple yet deep and affecting. In one of his later songs, he had the line, "All this pain, I can't even rap it, sometimes I feel I want to sing." Up being released. Some songs were lost to his cousin's work for bigger artists since Rico needed the money and Future needed Rico to keep growing and learning.
So I'm working on something. He might have an idea. I said, we're gonna use that for Luda. He said, cool. Nah, man, you're taking my song. Oh, cool. To be a great leader, you gotta be a great father.
Yeah, but other songs, and I mean potentially life-changing songs, were lost to just bad luck.
I got a Dungeon Vault now, old Andre 3000 record, and he came by the studio to do a song with you.
That verse he ain't never put it out.
That was something he said. He said it to 3,000 face. He said, my cousin was so, this is him talking about me. I was so excited when 3,000 put that verse down. He was gonna change my life. I'm gonna give so we put this song out.
This phase of Future's creative growth was so devastating that he developed a fear of recording in any basement studio from all the times he was let down and his career was stalled in the Dungeon family basement studio.
I don't really record in the basement no more because when I was in the Dungeon, I feel like when I was making music at the bottom, it never came out. So I always like to record at the top now.
But the bad luck went outside the studio as well. Rico ran into trouble with the IRS and lost his house, and Future had to go back to Kirkwood and resume drug dealing to stay above water. He then got arrested multiple times. It's hard to imagine yourself in that position, sitting in a jail cell over and over, always wondering why you just can't catch a break. You have the skills, you got some opportunities, you even met some musical legends, but despite getting so close to life-changing success, you're still back at rock bottom. Life was not letting Future forget where he had come from.
Don't nothing smell the same, your food don't taste the same, nigga. You can't even eat right. Over 21, you look at all the mistakes you made, and that shit bottling up, and you like, nigga, man, I done fucked up so much, and get myself to this point where I'm just in life, nigga, feel like you ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? So I done been to that point where, like, man, any chance I get, man, I can't never see that person because I know I ain't built for that. I'm built for greatness, you know what I'm saying? And that shit'll tear you down.
At a certain point, Future's present became too painful to bear, and the future seemed like the only place where his hopes for a good life were possible. But then 2010 came. Nayvadius/Future, whoever he was at the time, was going to turn 27 years old, but he had 0 music releases and 0 fans. Age 27 was when Jimi Hendrix died a legend and was remembered for eternity. Future was still a nobody. His legend didn't even exist yet, but for some reason,